In this video, we're going to look both at percentiles and quartiles. Let's go ahead and start with the percentile. We use the notation PR, and this means percentile rank, or just percentile. So when we're figuring out the percentile rank, the idea is to figure out what percentage of these are just ages, what percentage of ages are below or at a certain age. So the formula looks like this. It's the number below plus 0.5, and that's to adjust in case there's ages that are equal to that age, divided by n, which is the number of data points, times 100. So let's say that we wanted to find the percentile rank for 21. Well, 21 is right here, and we notice that there are 3 below. So it looks like it's a little more than halfway through our range of scores, and it's important that you've got the scores in order. So when I put the formula together, the number below are these 3, the 17, the 17, and the 18. So there are 3 ages below, plus the 0.5, that fudge factor to incorporate any that are equal. And then I divide by n. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So divided by 6 times 100. So I'll go ahead and do that on my calculator. But it's important to note that these percentiles are always whole numbers. So no matter what I get, I'm going to round it up to the next integer. The next whole number. Can you see it there? So I'll do 3 plus 0.5 divided by 6 times 100. I get 58.3. So remember I said I'm a little more than halfway through all of those ages. So I get, and this will not be my answer, I get 58.3. We always want to round it up. Doesn't matter if it's 0.5 and above, it just matters that I'm after 58. So I round it up, and my answer is the 59th percentile. So that's how we figure out percentiles using this formula. The other measure of position that we're going to look at in this video are the quartiles. The quartiles mark our data in 25% increments. So 25% or 1/4 increments. So I'm going to take that same data, 17, 17, 18, 21, 22, and 27, and I can cut it into 50% increments. So now I've got 50%, so cut it in half. This is going to be quartile 2. And then when I cut it into 25% increments, I'm going to have to go right through those data points. Then this gives me 25, 25, 25, and 25. To figure out these quartiles, let me mark these. So these dotted lines here, that would be quartile 1. This middle one here is quartile 2, which is equal to the median. And this last one here is quartile 3. So let's go ahead and compute those. Starting with quartile 2, because I'm going to divide my data in half first. Well, I notice that quartile 2 lives right here. It's in between, halfway in between 18 and 21. So to figure out quartile 2, I want to figure out what's halfway between those two. I'll say equals. So quartile 2 is going to be the middle of these. So I'll do 18 plus 21 divided by 2. So what is that? 39 divided by 2? So 39 divided by 2, which would be, so 39 divided by 2 is 19.5. So 19.5. I don't round these. I just use either one of the ages or the data points that I was given, or I go ahead and use my calculation. So that's quartile 2. It's the same exact calculation that we do for the median. Same exact thing. When we go to find quartile 1 and quartile 2, we're also doing medians, but now we're going to do it's like a median of the lower half and a median of the upper half. So when we find quartile 1, I do have the median. It exists. Quartile 1 is right here. It's that middlemost number of the lower half, which would be 17. Quartile 2 is that median that we calculated, 19.5. Quartile 3 also exists. It's that middlemost number of the upper half, which is 22. So quartile 3 is 22. You can find quartiles, not percentiles, but you can find quartiles using one variable stats on your calculator. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can do that for any kind of a list. So I'm going to grab my calculator here. I'm going to put the data into, see if I can zoom in a little bit. I'm going to put the data into L1 and then go ahead and calculate with one variable stats. So let me focus in just a little bit better so that you can see right there. And I'm going to go ahead and enter my data in. So I'm going to go to Stat and then Edit, and I'm going to put my data into L1. See, we had 2 17s, 18, 21, 22, and 27. I'm going to leave Stats, so I'm going to quit, so second quit. I'm going to go back to Stat, and I'm going to go to Calc, one variable statistics. My calculator gives me a menu, so I go ahead and say, yeah, my data is in L1. I'm not using a frequency list, so I leave that blank, and I hit Calculate. If your calculator doesn't do the menu, then you're going to type in, oh, I'll show you here in a second, you're going to type in what you saw super quickly on my screen, which was one variable stats L1. Well, look at what we've got. We've got tons of information, but notice there's an arrow here. So if I arrow down, I've got quartile 1 at 17, the median, which is quartile 2, at 19.5, and quartile 3 at 22. So your calculator does a fantastic job of computing quartiles for you. So you just want to arrow down to the bottom of that list. I'm going to hit second entry so I can show you. There it is. So if your calculator does one variable stats without the menu, it's going to give you one variable stats, and then you'll choose L1, which would be, if I move my calculator up, second of 1.